Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Artistic Math Productions. I'm Roc Nation. I'm here with one of the best media phenomenons in New York City. Straight out of D.C. You reckon, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm from D.C. Hey. I know about do the dance.
Yeah.
You got your boy Jazz. Thank you, JS. Yes, sir.
Yeah, JS, ain't the best. What's going on?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Appreciate you, man. Long time. You know, found you, like I said, on Instagram. It was kind of hard to find even media personalities in the Dover area.
I'm already here.
I'm glad I ran into you, man. So let the world know who you are, because you know I got thousands of followers, is ramping up, you know, subscribers pulling up. So who you are and where you're from.
Of course. Well, my name is Jerome Smith, professionally known as JS, aka the Best. I'm a music producer, composer, actor, businessman. I pretty much do it all from the DC area. Currently in New York City, so yeah, we here.
We here, get it? Get at 'em. So just on my show, man, like I like to talk about the blueprint. Of course. So a lot of people have success stories or they're grinding their grind, but a lot of people don't know how they got started. Exactly. So I'd like to know, like, how was your childhood growing up? For sure. And who raised you? Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in the DC area, also PG County, Landover to be exact. My dad, we didn't really have a lot, so I mean, we didn't have a lot, but we had a lot of love. So it was just like, that was the foundation. There was a lot of love, a lot of support from family. And based off of that, I pretty much I didn't have a lot, but I had everything. I had a nice foundation to do whatever I wanted to. So one of the things that I was passionate about as a kid was the arts, specifically music, because in the DC area we have this thing called go-go, which is the type of music that we have, but it's bigger than just music because it's a culture. Like, I can play you the music, but it's different. You gotta physically be there to experience it. So it's like, the go-go culture was something that, as a kid, I saw people just beating on the, the buckets or whatever, and then actually going to a go-go and seeing it. I was like, you know what? I like that. I want to do that. But also, as a kid, I love watching movies. So it's like, I love watching movies over and over and over again. So it's like, I'm paying attention to not only the acting, I'm paying attention to the directing, the scoring. It's different, yeah. So I'm paying attention to everything. So as a kid, I'm like, how can I piece this together? How can I see what I'm doing in these, what they're doing in the movies mixed with like the go-go culture? And then also I'm a fan of music, all different types of music. So whether that's hip hop, R&B, country, rock, classical, because I have a lot of different types of friends, of course, growing up in the DC area. So it's like, how can I combine all of this? So basically, when I was in 5th grade, I had the opportunity to move to a better school in Seabrook/Atlanta, Maryland, and shout out to Robert God, the Montessori school. I was in the Montessori program, which means that basically instead of sitting at a desk 24 hours or however 8 hours a day, you basically learning hands-on at whatever the thing is that you're learning, whether that's math, science, whatever it may be. It's a lot of field trips, it's a lot of just hands-on activity. So it's not like you learn the same thing every day. Experience. It's you really, like, whatever it is that you want to learn, it's hands-on. So I got a chance to be in the symphonic orchestra at the school, and the instruments that I played was every percussion instrument. So that's how I got the music theory background, and I was able to like piece everything together on the music side. And around that same time, I started producing on a PlayStation video game, MTV Generator. This is way back in the day. This is the first PlayStation 1. Oh, okay. This is the first one, and then they upgraded once the PlayStation 2 came out. They got MTV Generator 2. So I started making tracks on there, just piecing together things, sequencing, understanding the structure of a song. Because I already knew the music background theory, but it's a little bit different once you get into song structure, especially like in the pop culture and everything. It's a little bit different, but got into that. And then after that, I just started, because once again, I told you I didn't come from a lot of money, so I just had to just, whatever little money I had, just, flip it. Whether that was me selling CDs or whatever the hustle was at the time, it was just take that amount of money, save, invest, flip it into better equipment. So it was just whatever. If I had $1, I'm like, all right, we're gonna put that dollar aside. We're gonna buy whatever we need to sell, take the profits, reinvest, get better equipment, get better whatever we need. Whether that was marketing, because my name has been JS since the beginning, so I was always making hoodies, hats, whatever. So it's like on the marketing side too, I was like, all right, bet.
this is what we need to do. I need to take this amount of money, put this into the marketing, put this into promotion, put this into the music, put this into the acting classes, whatever it may be. So it was always just getting the money, flipping it, reinvesting it. And it took time. This wasn't like an overnight thing. Like it took time.
Yourself, you self-motivated yourself, or somebody taught you how to do it?
No, there was nobody to teach me how to do it. The only thing that I would say somebody taught me how to do was on the music theory side. My band teacher, Mr. Harris. Shout out to Mr. Harris.
Shout out to Mr. Harris.
Yes, the OG. Shout out to him. He taught me music theory, but everything else when it comes to music production, songwriting, even the business of music, I had to teach myself, because coming from the area, there wasn't anybody that at the time was doing what I wanted to do. So it was like, after school, once everything was over with basketball practice, I got my homework out the way, I got all of that done, I would go to the library and I would get the books on the music business, but not only that, but the business of everything in general, because I never wanted somebody to take advantage of me. So I was like, you know what, as a kid, I know where I come from, but I'm not gonna have any excuse, because I don't want nobody to take advantage of me. So I don't want no excuses. I'm like, I'm gonna learn this myself. So it's like when I do get the chance to get into these rooms, it's like it's not gonna be any excuses. I'm gonna be on my P's and Q's and everything, so I know exactly what's coming. So once the opportunity comes, I'm gonna be ready.
Jay-Z once said,
What'd he say?
He said, I'm not the business, I'm a business man.
Yes.
But he did said,
yeah, what'd he say?
I walk in the room like something full of vultures. I forgot the exact lyrics. When you walk in the room, any room that you walk in. So like you said, right? If you know your shit, right? You know your knowledge, you're educated. You walk in, there's no, hey, maybe we're gonna do the 360 deal with you.
Yeah, but you gotta know your worth.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do you get 10%, the company get 90.
Yeah, exactly. Like, nah, you gotta know your worth. You gotta know how to negotiate. And every deal, a 360 deal might be right for certain people. It just depends. But even if they offer you a 360, you gotta know how to negotiate and say, you know what? I'm not gonna take this template that y'all giving me. Like, I already got a foundation that I'm building off of. But we can work together, we can partner, we can do some things here and there, maybe on a non-exclusive tip. But this situation that y'all offering, we can do this on a non-exclusive. But it just depends. You gotta know your worth, you gotta know how to negotiate, but also not rely on whoever it is you're doing business with. You gotta be reliant and have your own thing going. Okay. And then, y'all can come to the table and, negotiate.
Nice. So a lot of people is uncomfortable marketing, self-marketing, right? Yeah. So like you said, you want to pass out CDs.
Yeah.
So how do you get yourself in the mentality for someone who's shy or introvert? Yeah. To get out there and start passing out TVs? What steps you took?
Well, for one, I always had a good taste in, I would just say, culture, whether it was just music, whatever it may be. Because I remember there was times where I would wear certain things and then the next day, well, I wouldn't even say the next day, but maybe a few days later, like I would see a bunch of my friends wearing the exact same thing. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I know I have some influence on that side of the, fashion tip. Or on the music side, I would play people certain music that they might not have been accustomed to before, and then next thing you know, they got their CD, their Walkman, and they playing some of the stuff that I'm, putting them on to. So I'm like, all right, bet. So it was just, I understood my influence at a young age, and I was just like, all right, I pretty much know I can do whatever. I just need to just kind of formulate it and just put some type of structure to it. So I knew I needed to make money somehow, some way. So I knew at the time CD, I forgot what the price at the time, the blank CDs were. But it was easy, because I know you could get like a big ass stack for like 100. Yeah, exactly, for like 100. And then I had a few different computers at the time, so I was like, all right, bet I got that. And then, can I cuss on here?
Yes.
Alright, shit. At the time, I knew like I could get the music off of like LimeWire or whatever it was at the time. So it was just like, all right, bet. Plus, I had my own CD collection at the time, so it was like, all right. With all of this, I had my resources, so I was just like, all right, we're going to take all of this, boom, 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 boom. It only cost maybe, let's say $10 for 100 pack. It might have been more, somewhere, let's just say $10 for 100 pack of blank CDs. I got the music already, so maybe hypothetically I'm selling them for $9 a pop. You do the math.
And you reinvest. So who taught you? So did you self-taught yourself? I need to save $8, put $1 towards more marketing, or I need to put $5 towards?
I would say it was a little bit of, okay, so I would say some of it, majority of it was self-taught, but also in the environment, there was people, I'm not trying to glorify, but there was people in the pharmaceutical business that was doing.
Nice, street pharmacists.
Doing, you know, certain things. So I would see what they was doing, but a lot of them was very loud, and I didn't like how loud they were because they would, at some point, one way or another, go away. So I basically learned from people's mistakes on that tip. Yeah. But then I don't know, I guess there was just something in me where I just was like, you know what, I seen people who get money and they easily blow it, or they just are loud and they just spend it on the wrong things, and I didn't want to lose it. So I was like, I think at the time I was more scared of losing it. So I was just like, you know what, I need to somehow figure this out and like put some sort of plan together.
Zero risk.
Yeah.
Every person in business, you take a risk. But if the risk is valuable, you take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it gotta be the right risk. You gotta know pros and cons and weigh everything. You know, every situation is different.
So now, you're in DC.
Yeah.
You chilling one day, you chilling, you know what, I need to get my ass in New York City. when was that moment in your life? And when did you decide to make that move?
I was always back and forth, but I would say when I was a junior in high school, this was like 08.
Okay.
Jay-Z at the time, ironically, we were just talking about him. Jay-Z at the time, he just started Roc Nation. And this is super early. This is before, you know, Roc Nation Sports and all that, you know, the stuff that you're doing now. But at the time, he just had a roster of mainly songwriters, producers, and he had a few artists at the time. And one of the artists that he had was an artist by the name of Young Chris, who was formerly on Rockefeller and was a part of State. It still is a part of State Property, but
I got some. Okay,
keep
going.
All right, yeah. But at the time, like,
got a plug.
they was just figuring things out. But I was working. I had the chance to work with Young Chris, and that was like my first big opportunity at the time. So it felt good. Like that was my first time I heard my song on the radio, and first time I'm working with a big artist, and it was cool. It was like, that was like a good experience.
Nice. So you got to New York, and you got to media and engineer, right? So media engineer, acting.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
So your stuff is on Showtime.
Yeah.
Right? So what steps do you take to get yourself to a certain level, like a Showtime or say, you know, you're on HBO?
Yeah.
I believe you was on something else that I seen too as well. Another major.
Yeah, and that's what we call, that's a part of music publishing, but it's specifically called music licensing, when you get your songs featured on different shows and movies and networks and things of that nature. And that's a whole thing that a lot of artists don't even know, you know, that they can make a lot of money, way more money than, you know, being an artist. Like you can be an artist, but like you don't necessarily have to be the most popular artist to make, you know, the most money. Like a lot of the money comes from the publishing side, and that's the, you know, the sync, what we call sync fees and things of that nature, which is a part of the TV film business. But basically how I got into it was, like I said, as a kid I would always see you know, different movies, and I would just watch and I'd be like paying attention to the music in there, and I'm like, all right, from a music perspective, I'm paying attention because I'm curious to know, you know, what type of music that they're using so I can replicate it. But not only replicate it, but how can I bring something new and different to the table, my twist to it. So that's from a music perspective. That's how I got that. But from the actual business part, making it happen, once again, I didn't know anybody in any of these type of rooms or whatever. So I got the books on the business, and when I got the books on the business, I started learning about these different roles that, you know, take place in the industry, and I just started Googling. It was a bunch of Googling at the time, and Google back then wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. So yeah, and it was just a lot of cold calling, a lot of emails that weren't getting responded to.
That's what we want to know.
Yeah.
Now. Like, you gotta get in the butter. You know?
Because this is the part that people omit. They just think that it just happened over, like no, it was a lot of just like, it wasn't even no's. People didn't respond. So it's like, I don't even know if y'all even listening to it. Like, I would prefer to get a no, but like, I don't even know if y'all listening to it. There's no timeline if y'all gonna get back to me. I'm sitting here struggling, trying to figure out how to, you know, should I just stop? Like, I don't know if I'm good enough. I'm doubting myself. I'm like, I don't know. So like, you know, if you can like get through that, you will be all right.
So, cold calling, which is, you know, with the media production business, we're in the point where, you know, we just start with babies right now.
Yeah.
So we're just doing Instagram stuff, marketing. Hey, we got to package out new up and coming independent artists, $500. If you're working 9 to 5, you make it affordable. We're not gonna do no $3,000 label type prices. We know we starting off. So what you think about like the up and coming artist who works at 9 to 5 but want to make it into the music game?
I think that everybody's path is different, because sometimes you'll see artists, they put up a song and there's no marketing, there's no promotion, and somehow the stars align and they just blow up. Sometimes people get lucky like that. I mean, it's rare, but it happens. Then other times it's like they know somebody in the industry, and then once again they make it seem like they blow up overnight. But the little things that people don't know is that there's a whole team secretly behind it, pushing it, doing the marketing, throwing the $100,000 marketing campaign. But it's making it look like that they just blew up overnight, but that's not the case. It's the relationships. So sometimes it's the relationships. Other times there's people that I know for years that have not, you know, that had a 9 to 5 job and that put money into their career monthly, but it's stagnant. And sometimes it could be so many different variables as far as them not wanting to grow, or that they might be stuck in their ways. They might have the wrong team around them. It could be so many different factors. But then there's other people too that, you know, they make sure they put a certain percentage, you know, of what they're making, you know, into their career, and they budget it out right. They're very self-aware. They know what they want. Once they see the results and they see that it's positive, and they keep, you know, putting more money into it, then it's like, okay, it works for them. But then other times it's like, okay, they notice that this worked, but this doesn't work. So it's like, if this does work, all right, I gotta reevaluate and just, you know, back to the drawing board and figuring it out.
Facts. It's like, a lot of people didn't know Rick Ross was a PO.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought he, you know, the way he said on hustling.
I know, but nah, he had a job. He had a 9 to 5.
Had a 9 to 5. Then he became Rose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It didn't just happen. He wasn't out the womb Rose. Like, nah. It took, you know, it was a process.
So, what's a great business advice, you know, other than, you know, for the engineers and music advice? I know you said read some books.
Yeah, for sure.
Get your knowledge up.
Yeah, I mean, for real, it's not like at the time it was reading books, and I think that reading books is always a good thing. But I think that we're also in a new age where you can get this information right from your phone on social media. So it's way more convenient. You don't necessarily have to go to a library when you can, you know, go right on your phone and get it. But at the same time, it's more distractions, obviously, with social media. But if you know what you're looking for and you know, doing the right searches, you can find way more, you know, in a short amount of time than, you know, you reading a book, which might take you, you know, some hours. But yeah, I would say from, you know, some solid advice would be just study whatever it is that you want to be. If you want to be a scientist, you know, you need to study, you know, do your research, do your homework, try to find a mentor in whatever field that you're trying to get into. Always be a student, stay humble, and be the best at whatever it is that you want to do. You know, don't just get into it to be mediocre. You going to do something, really do it. Like, you know, give it your all. There's going to be rough patches. It's going to be a lot of rough patches. It's probably going to be more rough patches than, you know, the good times. But you just got to weather the storm, man. Like Big said, more money, more problems.
More money, more problems. Life of a legend.
Yeah, so even when you do get to, you know, the next level, the next level is always going to be different types of problems. It's not going to be the same problems. It's going to be different type of problems that you have to deal with. Nice. So it's just, you got to weather the storm.
So what's coming up for you that people can see around the world and or around New York City or Atlanta, you know, my artists?
Yeah.
And what's a quote that you live by every day?
Shit. Well, what's coming up? It's a lot that's coming up. Today is December. What is today?
Shit, man. I think it's the goddamn. It's the 4th.
The 4th? Well, I don't know when the fight is, but the Gervonta Davis fight versus Isaac Cruz did the music for the All Access on Showtime. So I did that. You can see that the credits, the end credit scene, right when the credits come on, you hear the music. That's me. Powers Book 2. No, is it Power? No, Power Book 3. I'm sorry. I should know this. Power Book 3. Raising Kanan Season 2 next year, 2022. I'm in that. It's a lot. It's a lot that I can't think of right now, just because it's a lot that I'm working on. But more music for myself. A lot of different types of music that's coming out. So it's a little bit of rock, a little bit of country, a little bit of course, gotta keep it DC, a little bit of go-go music. Producing for a lot of people, and just stay tuned. And a quote that I live by is actually on this hoodie. We don't make moves, we make movements.
Hey!
Yeah.
I need a hoodie.
Yeah, I got you, no problem.
Right,
I got you.
off you today. So, one more question just popped up as soon as you said it. So, you know, as in our culture, we stick to hip hop.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important for us to branch out to rock, to country, to different styles of music rather than just solely focus on hip hop?
Yeah, I mean, just black people as a general, we was always doing other types of music in general. If you look into your history, we was always a part of, whether that was rock and roll or country, whatever.
Because we started rock and roll, right?
Exactly. So it's like, it's really nothing new, but to answer your question, yeah, I think we should definitely expand, because you don't ever want to put yourself in a box and saying that you can only do one thing. Like, nah, there needs to be more people in classical that look like us. There needs to be more people in rock and roll, country. There needs to be more scientists that look like us, so people can, you know, when kids grow up, they don't just see that, you know, the only way to be successful is to be in entertainment. Like, nah, you can be a scientist. You don't need to be, you know, it can be a cool thing to be a scientist. So it's like, nah, people need to see that, you know, people of color, you know, can be a scientist and be cool. You can be a politician and be cool. You can be into environmentalists or whatever you into. Like, it's different things. So people just need to see that you can do anything you put your mind to. You could be an astronaut and still be cool. Like, yeah.
It's like, I was telling a story about this other day, but I met when the president flew down. You know, we do stuff like Dover. Yeah. And like, the president flew down and the Secret Service came around. I seen the first only black dude with dreads. Yeah. Top Secret Service.
Yeah.
Imagine if I was a kid in school.
If you would have just saw that, that would have just changed your whole perspective on things. Because you would, you know, in general, you would never think that that's something that you could be.
Right.
But if you see somebody that look like you doing it, it's like, oh, he don't even have to say anything to you. Just the fact that you see him.
I seen him. I was like,
that's all you need. It's just a spark. Yeah.
He got dreads. He's black.
Yeah.
He's got, you know, he's nice tail in his suit. He like, you know what I'm saying? He look like someone, me and you. But,
yeah.
You know.
That's all you need. That's all you need to do is just see it and just have that spark, and that's it.
Yep. So where can people find your information? Reach out to you for any bookings for acting.
Yeah.
You know, for music production. Yeah. And any type of their media business needs. Where can someone find you?
Everything can be found on JS, aka thebest.com. As you can see, everywhere on social media, JS, aka the best, and just reach out.
Nice, nice. Everything will be linked up below in the description below. Below. Down below.
Make sure y'all subscribe and all that. Like, comment, everything. Everything.
But you know, I appreciate you coming to the show, dog.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Long time coming, man.
Yes, sir. We did it.
Yeah.